What's going on? It's your boy Lax again, and today we have Showdown Premier League live coverage. I haven't actually been around for like when most of the SVOU games have been going on, but this one especially I wanted to catch. 3D versus Clean, probably one of the more anticipated matchups of the finals. Two players very much on the come up, a lot of hype surrounding them. Obviously, my boy 3D on one side, and then the OLT finalist Clean that lost to ZabGB in the finals. So, pretty good matchup. Very interesting teams coming around. I want to say that these aren't very known teams. Like, I don't think anyone has brought them prior to my knowledge. Clean looking like a standard Lando offense with a hat. I think if you replace hat with like Woger and replace like D-Knight or one of the dragons with Deoxys, it looks like a super standard team. But the hat really does make a difference. In this matchup in particular, hat actually seems quite annoying if it's like an assault vest, psychic noise, draining kiss set. Really good at denying hazards and just a really annoying set, spreading that para around with nuzzle and stuff. On 3D side, this Darkrai looks really good because if Darkrai is able to tear into something that beats Zamazenta, there's not a lot that Clean has to revenge it, barring Scarf Goldango. Which it might not even be, because, you know, it's a typical Lando offense, and they do have Zama for speed control. So it might not actually be Scarf Dango. Alright, so that Ice Beam damage does reveal, like I said, it's AV Hatterene, which is so annoying, actually, if it's Psychic Noise. There isn't really a great Mon to go here. I would probably do Garg. If I'm Clean, I'm clicking either Nuzzle or Psychic Noise. So using that as 3D, Garg is probably best to not take a para. Or if you're Cloak on Goldango, that's actually a pretty free switch in, because Mystical Fire is probably not expected here. Oh, actually it does go for Mystical Fire. That was a nice play. It does reveal Cloak Goldango. So that's actually kind of tricky for 3D. I think he can recover once, but what I would actually like to see is Moltres on Mystical Fire and a U-turn into Goldango, because that U-turn should put Hatterene into range and make it rain. But recover could also be good here. Wow, just to recover. So Clean is instantly trying to go for progress, aka getting up some stealth rocks, trying to make something happen. If I'm 3D, I might just make it rain right now. I feel like Rocks is pretty obvious. Clean wants to figure out these items, you know, prevent Darkrai from coming in for free all the time. Same for Garg. So make it rain on Rocks is not the worst play ever. Honestly, like Lando is kind of threatening too, because we don't know if it's Stone Edge or something. So it's not like he can just easily go Moltres right now. So Tusk looks like his primary Lando switching. So I guess EQ, if he's Stone Edge, EQ coming out also makes sense. So maybe you can't just make it rain for free. Yeah. Yeah, through a little bit of hindsight and analysis, figure out that staying in with gold is actually a terrible play. Alright, Great Tusk is in. The EQ reveals that it is likely 0 attack Lando into, I want to say, 0 HP Tusk. Could be some HP, like some kind of bulk, but that doesn't look like a lot of damage from EQ. Right now, 3D is threatening Rocks, but he's also potentially taking another EQ from Melanders that just stays in. I want to say Clean probably goes to Hat here, because I think Hat on his team reveals that Dragonite is some kind of dice set, or some kind of Life Orb, or like Mirror Herb, or like something crazy. So yeah, that's a good spinner, that's a good Hat. Both plays make a lot of sense. I do think Headlong Rush, yeah, Headlong Rush 100% kills here. So the play for Clean is probably to go Lando again. Lando back into Hat. The good thing about how 3D is sequencing this is that Hatterene is taking a lot of damage. It's not really going to be able to come back alive. So putting the pressure on this really opens up Darkrai for his team. Yep, he does go back to Landers. What does 3D click here? Headlong Rush again. So now this is a tricky turn, because the ball is in Clean's court. Because he could EQ, he could Stealth Rock even. Alright, so it looks like he has denied hazards completely. The issue is like, how good is that actually for Clean though? Because it's not like Dragonite with Dice is really gonna do much here anyways. But if it's like a Terra Fly Knight or something with lefties, that would be pretty crazy. Wow, he lets rocks go up. I think that's probably fine. I would have preferred to just EQ and knock this out though. Because I think rocks does less for clean than it does for 3D. So by letting him rocks up, it's kind of tricky. So now Lando is pretty obviously going to get the EQ kill. Tusk might live. Rocks coming back in. It could be worth like a Rocky Helm if it does, but I'm assuming it's not because it's sacked. Okay, Boots Darkrai. Boots Darkrai on this kind of team sort of implies like a Wisp set or like a Knock set perhaps, which seems really, really annoying for Clean. Because if he has Wisp, then his main counter in Zamazenta is quite useless. This looks really good for 3D, I want to say. Because he's got a D-Knight in versus a Lando that's basically dead. Gonna die to rocks no matter what, unless it gets Healing Wish, but then it's a wasted Hatterene. Oh wait, no, it's Assault Vest. What am I talking about? So there's no Healing Wish, Lando is dead 100%. This game now comes down to a sort of race. Does Roaring Moon sweep first, or does 3D's Dragonite sweep first? And this Zamazenta that counters Darkrai, unfortunately has to go through so many different layers. It has to get through a Gold, Moltres, and a potential Terragarg. And that Gold is Cloak as well, so if it's max defense, then Crunch is bouncing off and you're never going to be able to drop it. So this is now a pretty tricky situation for Clean. Hat is also in range of Sludge Bomb because, let's see, how much did Ice Beam do? Ice Beam did 20. That means Sludge Bomb is going to do like 40 minimum. So it's actually, it could be a roll. I doubt it because I think Ice Beam seems like pretty low for AV Hat. But Hat is likely in range now, so that forces in Zamazenta. If this Zama is offensive though, like it's some kind of like Expert Bell, Life Orb, Howl even, Howl Zamazenta would actually kind of just destroy right now, but if it is some kind of offensive Za instead of a Resto Chesto, that's where Clean wants to turn the game around. But we're about to see, because Crunch should be coming out here. I think that's pretty obvious gold. 30% and leftovers proves that it's not offensive, unfortunately. It's an Iron Defense, probably Roar or Subset. Actually, Roar hasn't been used in quite a while, I think. Okay, so Recover is forced out, which gives a free Roaring Moon. Hard D-Knight implies that it has Encore or some kind of move to stop the setup like Dragon Tail. Or even like Ice Punch or something crazy, or Dragon Claw even. But people don't normally hard switch D-Knight, or he's just gonna Terra Normal and E-Speed twice. But I think that's pretty risky because this could be Ghost and Roaring Moon, so you can't really bank on that. You probably have to be something that beats it otherwise, like without tearing, such as Dragon Tail. I think if it Terra Fairies on Dragon Tail for whatever reason, absolute insane play. But if that does happen, you have to bank on Moltres coming in and burning it or roaring it. But I think if that does happen, I'm pretty sure 3D wins. Because Terragarg will be able to clean up the rest of the team, unless it's Cloak Gold. Okay, Terra Fairy is revealed. It does not get the KO. It is Dragon Tail into Terra Fairy, which is tough, which is pretty tough. So now 3D has to E-Speed and bring Moltres in or bring Gold in and Terra Gold. Assuming he's Fairy and not like Terra Ghost somehow. I don't think there's much to think about here. Clean is just gonna knock off, and 3D is just gonna. Oh, oh, I don't. He keeps D-Knight. He keeps D-Knight in favor of Molt actually just dying off rip. So that means when Molt dies, if he doesn't get the burn, he has to go Goldango and Terra it. And tearing Goldango opens him up to Zamazenta and Dragonite. I think you should just let D-Knight die at this point. Which does happen here. Okay, so he kind of just took damage on Moltres for no reason. But, you know, it happens. Maybe he realized, like, wait, I actually need Moltres to beat Zamazenta if I Terra my Goldango. So now presumably this gold is about to Terra. Clean could actually scout this. But I think just raw Terra Blasting is probably the best play to chip this down as much as possible. Put it into range of everything else. Oh, it's Terra Water. It's not actually Terra Fairy. Okay, so this Mega Rain definitely knocks it out. Yeah, well, it was a crit, but unless it's like super HP and Spadef invested for Moon, no way it's doing that. Okay, so that does seem like 3D kind of realizes, wait, I actually need Moltres. I'm gonna switch it out and sack D-Knight like I meant to do. But that being said, if Clean clicked knockoff there, which I think everyone probably clicks knockoff there because you have to knock into Moltres anyways. Might as well. Yeah, like if he goes Moltres here and does get the burn, like you still knock it out anyway. So that's pretty crazy. Okay, Clean's Goldango looks really bad, really tough too. Okay, so it reveals Thunderbolt, which makes me think it's probably not Scarf. So Hatterene gets sacked here. Does this game actually come down to Clean doubling out Zama? So what happens is Dark Pulse twice into Hat. Hat goes down. Zama comes in. Or just hard Zama. Preserve the sack works too. Now so Clean is giving himself opportunities to double out of Darkrai into Gold, presumably, or Hatterene. This is a tough one. This is really going to come to the wire. Okay, he actually raw body presses, which could get burned. He doesn't get burned. Just very fortunate. You can just flame as 3D here, because I think D-Knight or Hat has to come in. So I don't think you want to Roost and let Hat get a free hit, but Roost does come out. But now you just U-turn into Guard. Okay, so he's not U-turn, meaning he's Wisp Roar. So that does make Guard take a lot of damage. And if it's Stone Edge D-Knight, that's actually really tough. So we'll see. Is it Protect Guard? It shouldn't be with Rocks on Tusk. Okay, try to recover on the choke. Makes sense. Alright, Gold comes in. Thunderbolt knocks out Garg. The thing is, Moltres can still win. If it's not Rock Move D-Knight, or if it's not Scale Shot D-Knight, Moltres might just win. This Gold Thunderbolt is doing a lot of damage though. That's why I say if it's not Scale Shot or Rock Move, because Thunderbolt will bring Moltres to like 40, 35 maybe, if it's like modest. And then D-Knight can revenge with the Scale Shot and outspeed it. It could actually be Scarf, clicking Make It Rain there. Or just accounting for Darkrai so he can preserve the Garg, but I doubt that was happening. So now Rai comes in. Clean always hard Zama. Probably. But, I mean, it really depends on this D-Knight set. Okay, I actually like Molt here before Rai. Because the fact that Clean clicks Make It Rain means he can't T-Bolt for a lot. So T-Bolt's only doing like 40% maybe. depending on spreads, of course. So this really is going to come to the wire of what this D-Knight set is. Okay, nasty plot. Okay, so now it's a 50-50. I think it's just a 50-50 for game. I mean, obviously contingent on D-Knight not having the thing. Okay. Well, gold still lives after rocks, so he can just go Zamazenta, preserve the gold. It's not Custat, which means it's likely Shukaberry. Could even be Colbert. Actually, if he was Colbert, he would have stayed in. Okay, Zama comes back in. Ice Beam comes out. Ew, this is really tricky. What is this D-Knight set? It's clearly not Boots D-Knight. Oh my god. Does he stay in? Oh, wow. Oh, that did nothing. Okay, so he's not Modest. What is the D-Knight? We are about to find out if it's Scale Shot. But honestly, you could probably Roost here. I don't think raw scale knocks you out unless it's 5-hit. Do you Roost or do you Wisp? Oh, okay, that should be game. That should be game. Unless Flame burns. Okay, wait, he's Terra Blast. Wait. Wait, he's Leftovers. Oh my god. I think 3D wins. You roar it out and then Roost? Wow, Ice Spinner is actually a really good pull, and that Flamethrower burn is super unlucky. Because +1 Ice Spinner should put it into crunch range. Because now you just roar. Yeah, now you roar, and now you Roost. Yeah, that's game. Wow, that's a wild ending. Coming down to Flamethrower burn, but it's not like those odds were even that bad. Because I'm thinking of like the odds of Goldango to live at 2% HP. Like that's pretty low too. Wow, he raw Flamethrowers. Okay, well now he puts himself in a position. I don't like that actually. I think you can burn out all your roosts, but now he puts himself in a position where he needs to connect Wisp. Does it happen? Would be insane if Clean just reveals Stone Edge here, but it's not gonna happen. All right, that's game. Wow, that was a pretty intense game. Really came down to the wire. Came down to the Dragonite set. It must be Terra Fly, but why would you be Ice Spinner at Terra Fly, right? So it could be Terra Ground Encore lefties. That's possible, but yeah, that was a crazy game. Well played to both. I think that turn of letting rocks up was really tough actually, and it didn't really accomplish anything for Clean. Like rocks really didn't play a factor at all in this, so wild game. I mean, that's just one turn to nitpick. I think overall, like, it was really close, and 3D did have to burn Flamethrower, right? And he had what? He had 2 chances. Yeah, he had 2 chances to burn Flamethrower. Not the best odds. But yeah, really insane game. Catch you for the next one.